It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. We have another video that was suggested by one of you guys. I feel like it's almost like an ongoing series now from all just based off of suggestions from you guys. So shout out to Dimitri for suggesting this one from I think it's, I don't know how you pronounce this. Ashzimovs or Ashimovs or Ashimovs? I don't know. But the video is titled Every Killer Stereotype in Dead by Daylight. As you guys know, I have a few P100s, so I wanted to actually give my thoughts on the killers that I do main. And I'm gonna start off with Ghostface first. That was my first main to begin with. And then we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. Original videos in the description. We're just gonna be covering my mains in this video. So let's take a listen.
Ghostface. The most common stereotype for ghosty players is that they're memers, running the scary movie mask and teabagging and trying to go for moris for screenshots. They don't care too much about how the game goes, they just want to mess around with you and maybe do a slug race and pretend they're repairing a generator. Then there's the subset of this kind of ghosty, which is their insecure cousin who thinks they're chill, but really they'll take offense to any kind of point or teabag and ruthlessly try to tunnel you out for memeing back in any way. Then finally there's the ghosty who just tries to play seriously, running a stealthy look and trying hard to win, even though the entire game and its design is working against them. Demogorgon.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I dislike the fact that there is the existence of that stereotype and the fact that there is the existence of those players that play Ghostface in a way to basically be the party clown for the Survivor players, I do acknowledge that does exist and that is very accurate. And you know, the last part is also very true. Unfortunately, I do fall into that category, or did fall into that category, where I had focused on winning for so much, even though the entire game works completely against me as a Ghostface player. That's very unfortunate. And that's why I've retired the character completely, I think, at this point. I know some people like to tune in and they want to see that character, but unfortunately, with the state of the game, I just don't think it's really worth it. You're not, like, I would, not to discourage people, but I don't think I can really show anything, because like the game will end in under 5 minutes. I'll be able to show off a couple things, but then you'll hear boom, bing, bing, and then and then it's like, okay, well, like, we're not gonna be able to show anything. Like, the match will be over in seconds. So like, it's just really not, the state of the game is not built for my characters. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Pyramid Head, because it was also my the Pyramid Head section, because this was another one of my P100s.
Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head players I think are mostly in it for the cool drip and aura, and also like to tunnel, but seemingly only because they enjoy the cool animation. Most Pyramid Heads always seem a bit overwhelmed with what's going on, but they're trying their best. Blight.
I've never seen that before. I mean, but then maybe I mean, I also don't think Pyramid Heads pick that much. You know? I don't know. I feel like Pyramid Head is almost kind of like the Adam Warlock of this game, because of the fact that he's not exactly the strongest, but he has aura. So like, so you play him and it's like, it's so cool. Let's take a look at Freddy. But yeah, like, I do kind of see the idea. When it came to playing Pyramid Head in the first place, I just really enjoyed like the lore around Silent Hill. I really liked what Pyramid Head represented in those games and stuff like that. And I thought it was very interesting to kind of basically be able to, you know, step in the shoes of that character and kind of play as one of the most iconic, you know, horror icons and, you know, ever, basically. And that's why, you know, that's why I got him to P100. So I kind of, I don't know if I can say it applies to myself, but hey.
Endgame. Freddy. I feel like Freddy has gone through so many phases that I don't even know how to pin him down. I just get the vibe though from almost all Freddys that they hate me for whatever reason. Freddys seem to often tunnel, camp, and hit on hook, but then rarely back it up with any actual skill. I think it must be all the reworks they've gone through and the grand total of 0 cosmetics they've received. They must be tired, and you know what? Fair enough.
The fact that bro said they don't follow it up with skill, you know, it's crazy. I will say though that at least when I've gone against a Freddy before, when I did actually get on a game of Survivor at one point, they were not very good. So maybe it's because of the fact that the character has been reworked a lot, and maybe it's because of lack of cosmetics. There's probably only a handful of people that sort of want to play Freddy, but I do also think that it really just kind of depends on the person and depends on the player. At least for me personally, I feel like I think I've always performed my best on Freddy because he, well, I liked his animation, of course, like when he gets that hit, you know what I mean? It feels very smooth. But also, I've always just used him as my warm-up character before I would try to play Ghostface around the time before his rework. So I feel like I was a lot better with Freddy as a result than I was with Ghostface, because Freddy really requires a lot of M1 focus, and it's not as heavily, like, you know, dependent on using the mechanics. You know, because even back then it was like placing down your snares in a good way, or even just using your dream palettes. So all of that basically left you with was just M1. So you had to really focus around actually, you know, combating that and being able to, you know, basically your footwork and do the best that you can with your limited resources. And nowadays he's sort of like an advanced version of that, where you still have to M1 pretty much, but you can go palette only if you'd like. That is an option. You can also go with the snare only, because I've always been a more of a snare specialist. Shout out to Dukerai, of course, because he's a palette like master, I would say, when it came to Freddy. Like he pulled out plays I didn't even think were possible. So I was like, yeah, that bro knows exactly what he's doing. But besides that, I do kind of like the fact that there is sort of like that distinction where you can kind of pick a play style, or you could even be like a sort of like a jack of all trades, master of none, where you can kind of swap between the two and just see what kind of works in your situations. Also very nice. So it's hard to say. I don't know. It's hard for me to even pin down what that would be. But let's check out Chucky, because I have P100 for him as well.
I feel Chuckies are often very lore accurate and character embodying, with them being as annoying as possible, creeping around and using any tactic there is to try and catch you. Chuckies generally have no chill, which is why I think it's also incredibly satisfying when you stun them and they fall flat on their back. I think it is that dynamic that makes this stereotype true. They realize they're just small little guys compared to the survivors, and so they have to prove they're big and scary by being mean.
It is interesting. I think that what really helps you embody Chucky when you play him is the fact that he has voice lines. He talks a lot of shit when he plays. He's always insulting them, and it really feels good to have, because it's like, that's, especially if you're like a shit talker, that you can at least have like a character that can speak for you, because you obviously, there's no, you know, microphone capability in the game for them to hear you, like, you know, talk your shit. So the character will do it for you, and then you can, you know, you can kind of you know, use that and live vicariously through that and stuff like that. And I think that's really great, and that's what I like the most about it. And of course, I just love the fact that he's very lore accurate in general in the game, because he's small, he's always like laughing, he's always you know, insulting them and stuff like that, because they do deserve it. So it does make sense. And there's probably a few more killers that I technically main, but obviously those are like my top 3, I would say, that I have the most playtime on. I do have some experience with playing Hillbilly as well, and of course even with Myers, but I can't say that I'm a main of Myers really, and I can't say that I'm like a fully mastered Billy yet, so I can't really say that those will be, you know, the best way to play around it in terms of dictating where the stereotype is. But I want to know what you guys think about the sort of video today. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next one. Become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch will help us a lot. I'll see you guys next time. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members: Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Cargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.